gents, Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And this movie review is going to be for none other than yet another Marvel film that came out, that I think was supposed to come out on September 15th, but it got delayed due to the Delta variant and the Suicide Squad's underwhelming box office performance. At the time, it was supposed to come out around that time. But then around that Labor Day weekend, we all know Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings came out. And that movie surpassed expectations at the box office, made over $94 million on its Labor Day weekend, beating out Rob Zombie's Halloween from that record. And so, guess what happened? In the US and Canada, it got moved up a few weeks to October 1st. However, in the UK, it's still coming on October 15th, so kind of feel bad for those living in the UK are not going to be able to see the film until 2 weeks. So, this review, guys, I'm going to try not to spoil the movie a little bit, so this is not going to be a spoiler review. So I will do my best. But anyway, this is for none other than Venom Let There Be Carnage, aka the sequel to 2018's Venom. Now, before I say my thoughts on this movie, I'll say my thoughts on the first one. I liked it. It wasn't a masterpiece by any means. I mean, it was just it was like, yeah, it was a little dumb at times, but it was still a pretty good movie, very solid for what it was. It actually got the portrayal of Venom right after the disastrous mess that was, of course, Spider-Man 3's Topher Grace Venom. Ugh. Now, this one actually got the character right. So, that being said, how would I rank that movie? I rank the first one a 7.5 out of 10. Had some dumb moments, but was still very solid nonetheless, and kind of a good throwback to the 2000s superhero movies. Okay, but anyway, so I just got back from seeing Let There Be Carnage. What are my thoughts on it? There's people that are saying this movie's better than the first one, but me personally, I know some of our opinions are going to be a little varied, but no, I don't agree with that. I did not hate the movie, guys. I still thought it was pretty good, but I did not think it was better than the first one. I think I'm one of the few people that preferred the first one. But before I get to that, I'm going to say the plot. Eddie Brock struggles to adjust to his new life as the host of the Alien symbiote Venom, which grants him superhuman abilities in order to be a lethal vigilante. Brock attempts to reignite his career by interviewing serial killer Cletus Cassidy, who becomes the host of the symbiote Carnage and escapes prison after a failed execution. Yeah, that's the plot of the movie. Since we all remember, those who saw the movie, the post-credit scene was teasing Carnage. And now we have Carnage in the sequel. My first critical main issue, it's, yeah, like the first one, this movie also should have been R-rated because Carnage is not a children's character. He is violent, he is grisly, there's a reason he's not in any Spider-Man movies, guys. He is too dark for a Spider-Man movie. It's probably the darkest Spider-Man movie yet. And seriously, I thought Sony would have learned their lesson after my big criticism was the PG-13 rating for the first one, but no, they learned nothing from that. Like, seriously, at least the Suicide Squad learned their lesson with the James Gunn movie that came out 2 months ago, and they made it R-rated, after why nobody liked the first Suicide Squad movie because of the PG-13 rating, and many other things. However, I like Suicide Squad. At least the first Venom was actually good. This movie, to me anyways, like, here with this movie, Sony decided, hey, let's just make it PG-13 again. And I started to have some lesser thoughts. Like, if this movie were rated R, all Carnage scenes would have been so much cooler. Like, most of the CGI looks decent, but some scenes just look really weird. Like, almost 2007's Ghost Rider levels. When Carnage is jumping around fast. When he walks, it actually looks a little better. It's a little fun ride, but all there is to do is that it could have been much more, but the makers just played it way too safe by doing what they did in the first one. Also, Tom Hardy is still great once again. His chemistry with Venom is actually one of the best things of this movie. I like how they kind of go a little more romantic with Eddie and Venom this time around. It's pretty nice, and like, and also, another thing I did not like, the movie is really, really short. Like, around 97 freaking minutes. The first Venom was around 112 minutes. May not be long, but that's somewhat almost 2 hours. All other Marvel movies run around 2 hours. So yeah, I wish the movie were a lot longer, guys. Like, the movie felt way too short. Like, this movie would have also been better had they not made it so short. Like, I had my concerns about this film, especially after they announced the PG-13 rating. Like I was hyped we were going to see Carnage. I was hoping we'd make it R-rated, but no. But however, there was also a big consequence with making it R-rated. Sometimes when an R-rated sequel to a PG-13 movie gets made, sometimes they just end up being worse. Like take for example, Aliens vs Predator Requiem. First Alien vs Predator rated PG-13. No one liked it, but made money at the box office and spawned a sequel. AFP Requiem was released on Christmas Day 2007. People hated it even more. And it was not as successful at the box office. And well, then again, that movie was shitty lit, so I think it would have still sucked anyway, even if it were better lit. Then Live for Your Die Hard, rated PG-13. People were mad about it, but then the movie came out. People loved it. Most fans loved it anyways. It was actually decent. It was at least still a Die Hard movie, plus we have the unrated cut. Good Day to Die Hard was released 6 years later in 2013. Was rated R. No one liked it. It's now the most hated Die Hard movie. So yeah, there's sometimes a reason why sometimes making an R-rated sequel to a PG-13 movie sometimes can lead to disastrous results. But this movie just should have went with the R rating regardless, because, like I said, Carnage and Venom are rated R characters, so it would have at least made sense for them. Well, in certain respects, the film does some certain things that are a little bit funnier than the first one. It tragically also does some things even worse. Like, the film's tone is just all over the place, trying to be comedic, yet maintain its dark tone. Half or more of the jokes don't really land and are kind of terribly placed. And, like, the first Venom, was kind of a little perfectly balanced between comedy and seriousness. Like, it was only comedic when it needed to be, and it was serious when it needed to be. Here, they try way too hard to be comedic in nearly a lot of scenes, and there's not really much fight scenes, and not really much fight scenes until the very end, really. So yeah, Venom doesn't really do, yeah. Now for the good qualities. Tom Hardy as great as Eddie Brock / Venom, as expected, like he was in the first one. Woody Harrelson is great as Cleese Cassidy and Carnage, and I did like they changed his hair for this one, because I didn't really like his curly hair in the post-credit scene of the first film. As for, like, Naomi Harris as, like, Shriek, she doesn't get much scenes, but she's okay for what she is. And Michelle Williams does come back as Anne, which I wasn't a big fan of her character in the first one. I didn't really think she had much use, and she doesn't really have much use either in this movie. But thankfully, her scenes and her new fiance Dan's scenes are a lot shorter this time around. So, because I'm not a big fan of their characters, really. She didn't really have much reason to be in this movie. I kind of do wish they just cut Anne from this movie. Like, Corey Reviews said it best. Like, Anne didn't really have much of a purpose in this movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I love Michelle Williams, very good actress. In films like Brokeback Mountain and Blue Valentine and all stuff. And I thought she was decent and Oscar and powerful, but I'm just not a fan of Anne, really. But other than that, yeah, most of them. I mean, Carnage, despite being watered down to fit the PG-13 rating, he still had some pretty good scenes. Like, I especially loved when Carnage got revealed. Like, Carnage got revealed. I loved Carnage's design. I especially really liked what they did with Carnage's voice. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, and nonetheless, there's still enjoyment to be had from this film. There's still some great cinematography, some nice CGI, some good score, all these things to elevate the film. But really, however, this movie should have been a really dark, horrifying thriller of a film, depicting these characters accurately. Instead falls kind of on its face due to its short runtime, the terrible pacing, and, the studio from Sony learning absolutely nothing from their last mistake of giving this movie a PG-13 again. Instead of the R rating, which would have probably redeemed themselves. I mean, I still like the first one, but yeah, I agree. That movie should have been rated R. Even this movie should have been rated R. But all in all, I'm not gonna overly criticize that. It is what it is, and the and now I really did like the post-cred scene as well. But I'm not gonna spoil the post-cred scene, guys. I'm not spoiling the post-cred scene. No, because some people won't get to see the movie till October 15th in their certain areas. So I'm gonna try not to spoil as much stuff for them. But well, yeah. And while there was some excitement from the implications of the mid-credit scene, I'm still left with some concerns for the future, really. So yeah, all in all, this was an okay movie, just slightly disappointing. Really, I like the first one. I'm one of the few rare people, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but I prefer the first Venom movie personally. Like, gonna be one of the few people that finds Venom 1 a lot better. To me, anyways. But anyway, well, no, I don't hate this movie. It's not one of the worst movies I've seen this year. It's just really. Wasn't really as enjoyable as the first one. But here's how I'm going to rank it. I am going to give Venom Let There Be Carnage a 6 out of 10. And that's it for my review of Venom Let There Be Carnage. And, I have something to announce to most of my subscribers. And it's about the future of the future of me watching the MCU. I've also have made some thoughts, and also just like Lucamus Prime, after I see Spider-Man No Way Home, this is gonna be heartbreaking for a lot of you, but this has gotta happen. It's just part of life, guys. I will be retiring from the MCU for good. A lot of the films don't really interest me. Like, for example, I don't want to see Eternals because it's just gonna make Bruce damaging his own arm, bringing everyone back, and then Tony sacrificing himself to kill Thanos, all completely pointless. I definitely do not want to go see the Marvels. I hated the first one. I hated Captain Marvel, guys. I don't really want to go see Thor: Love and Thunder because I have a feeling like I like I do like Jane Foster. I do like Natalie Portman, but I have a feeling Jane Foster is just going to be hogging up most of the screen time, and Thor's not going to get as much screen time. Plus, I'm not excited that the Guardians are going to be in that movie because I've heard it's going to continue that annoying, cringy rivalry between Thor and Star-Lord, which is really starting to get annoying, guys. I never found that rivalry funny at all. Like, yeah, they're basically now just going to make Star-Lord a moron in that movie. I can already tell. And, like, basically now that the Guardians are kind of respecting Thor a little more, it's now making Cole's story arc in Guardians 1 and 2 completely pointless. So, I definitely don't want to go watch Thor: Love and Thunder for all those reasons. And Wakanda Forever, I also don't really want to watch it because I don't really see much reason for it to be made now that sadly Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us. May he rest in peace. Yeah, so just for Chadwick's life, just to keep honoring Chadwick's legacy, just want to leave Black Panther one movie. Yeah, like you all know, I definitely do not want to go watch that MCU Blade movie because they're making him PG-13, which Blade is not. Blade is not for kids, guys. Like, making Blade PG-13 is one of the stupidest things ever. So yeah, other than that, I could go on and on, but yeah, I will be retiring from the MCU because Endgame, for me, is the true end to the MCU. Spider-Man Far From Home is a good little epilogue, and I will go watch No Way Home still. I mean, I still need to wrap up Spider-Man or Peter's story arc, so yeah, just to, so we can wrap up Peter's story arc, and because I think this was supposed to be Tom Holland's last MCU movie, so yeah. After No Way Home, after Spider-Man No Way Home, guys, I'm officially going to be done with the MCU. It's going to heartbreak a lot of people, but like Cap said, we got to move on. There's just a time of life and we just got to grow up and move on, guys. But I have plenty of other franchises to look forward to. So, I won't be in, so at least I'll still have other franchises to look after, but other than that, yeah, my trip to the MCU is done after No Way Home. But anyway, okay, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, then don't forget to like, subscribe to Movie Lover 120.